Aloha. My name is Ed Chevy, and I'm here to sign a story, a Halloween spooky story for you today. The title is The Fall of the House of Usher. It was written by a famous writer, Edgar Allan Poe. He really likes to write Gothic stories. Please enjoy. I received a letter from a college friend of mine whose name was Roderick. In his letter, Roderick explained that he had a terrible mental and physical breakdown, and he must see me as I am his only personal friend. I remember Roderick very well. Tall, handsome, intelligent, reserved, and somewhat a bit eccentric. His letter was heartfelt, so I decided to visit him to see if I could help. It was a long journey, traveling on horseback, across the open country. When I arrived, the first glimpse of the house was, I didn't realize it was so huge and ancient. The sight of the house looked like it was bound to collapse at any time. It was decaying. There was black, thick, overgrown fungi covering the house. It looked like sickly hands clutching the entire house, pulling it down to the ground. The landscape was all black. The trees were decomposing in black. The lake was sullen in black, and the dark clouds hung low. When I entered, there was a gate with the sign Usher, but I stopped coldly. I could feel the evil coming from the house. The windows were like gigantic eyes staring down at me. For the first time, I felt fear creeping up my left arm. I managed to swallow my fear and continue through the courtyard path into the house. I was impressed by the large family room with a long dinner table. Even more impressive were the portraits of the Usher family hanging on the walls. Wow! Roderick does have a history, direct line of family descendants from sire to son. One thing I noticed was they all had the same dark and round eyes. And they seemed to be looking at me. I went upstairs to meet Roderick. I was shocked. He looked terrible. Roderick, what happened to you? He was so happy to see me. He gave me a huge hug. His complaints were lengthy: illness, withdrawal, not eating well, not sleeping well. He must wear thin garments, must have dim lights, but most of all, he heard voices in the house. Suddenly, something ran past him. It caught my attention, and I saw a young child hiding behind a wooden desk. She popped up, and I noticed it was a girl with a strong resemblance of Roderick. Who is she? That is Madeline, my sister. She is the last of the Usher family. I saw that she wanted to play like an innocent child, popping her head up and running around. But I was so tired, I decided to go to bed and woke up early the next morning. Met Roderick for breakfast, and he informed me that his sister Madeline had died last night. Wait, what? What? But I just saw her and she looked fine. I know, but she died of an illness. I saw her body in a long white dress. I just couldn't believe it. So young and beautiful, long black hair. Her features were fresh, young. I looked to Roderick and he seemed so mournful. Something did not feel right. For the next few days, Roderick told me it was time to bury Madeline. Okay, where do we bury her? Outside? No, we will bury her in this house. In this house? Yes. Where? In the basement. In the basement of the house? Yes. How strange, I thought. But I helped to put her in a wooden coffin and nailed down the lid. We carried her down the hallway to a secret door. When I opened the door, I saw an old spiral staircase going down into the dark. It looked really spooky. Roderick gave me the candle and we lifted up the coffin, spiraling down, 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 down. Thick cobwebs were on the walls. Black spiders and rats were running everywhere. The walls became narrower and narrower. But we kept going down, down. I felt like we were going to hell. We finally arrived at a massive steel door. Upon entering it, I was shocked. There were hundreds of Usher families buried in the walls. The walls were filled, some on top of each other, some against the walls, some on the ground. Roderick, explain this. Roderick explained, the history of my family dated back 200 years. We lived on the land of great beauty and great life. Then a plague from the ground took over the house, and the entire family lived and died in this house. So where are we going to bury Madeline? We'll leave her here. That's it? Leave her like that? Yes. No. For 1 week, I tried to cheer up, to comfort Roderick from his depression. We tried to talk stories, we painted, we read books, we listened to music, but still, he continued to brood over Madeline. I told Roderick I decided it was time for me to leave in the morning, but he kneeled down and he begged, please, please, stay with me, stay with me, stay. What am I going to do here in this house with you? What, Roderick? Roderick got up and looked at me. He knew I would not understand. That night, there was a terrible thunderstorm, howling winds, lightning, and rain. I struggled to sleep. Suddenly, Roderick burst into my room. His face was white, looking very frightened. What? Come with me. What is it? He took me into his bedroom and locked the door. Roderick, what is wrong? Listen. Do you hear? Do you hear? Outside it was thundering and lightning, and I couldn't hear a thing. But then he grabbed me and held me close. There is something I must tell you. I buried Madeline alive. Alive! Why? Why did you do this? To save her soul from this house. I gave her medicine to fake her death. Let's go and save her. It's too late. I already felt her coming to the door. Look, the floor. It's moving. Do you see it? I didn't see it. Look, the walls. They're breathing. Do you see it? But I didn't. Look at this roof. It's shifting. Do you see it? Do you feel it? This house is alive. My God, he had lost all his senses. He was madness. Suddenly there was pounding on the door. It was so real. And I heard her calling his name. Roderick. Madeline is here. Pounding. The door fell open. And there she was, standing, black, eyes, blood upon her fingers from clawing her way out of the coffin. You! She tackled him and knocked him down. Suddenly, the house was engulfed in flames. I tried to save Roderick, but Madeline was strong and held him, choking him. He was trying to get free, fighting for his life, pounding his hands on the floor, kicking his legs. Soon I ran. I was in the family room, and I stopped. And why did I stop? I could hear voices from the house. Ha, 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 ha. I saw the family pictures. Their eyes were all looking at me. All of them looking at me. The fear creeped up my arm. It gripped me like a vice. No! I smashed open the door and I ran out of that house. I ran as far as I could, And when I looked back, I will never forget what I saw. The house of Usher was a terrible sight. It was engulfed in flames, and those eye-like windows staring evilly upon me. The fear gripped me, and I just watched as the house burned down. And I could hear the family laughing and screaming. The black vines holding on to the house and pulling the house down. I kept watching. Everything was gone. Everything was black. The only thing standing was the gate that said Usher. Now I understand Roderick. He tried to tell me that the house was living. Evil had grasped it. We tried to save Madeline, to carry on the family name, but the curse would prevail. It was their destiny for her to be buried with the family. It looked like the destiny was to destroy the name and send Roderick to hell. To this day, I am still afraid. Why? I developed fear. To get this fear, you must be afraid. Be very afraid. Be very, very afraid. Ha ha ha.